Hey, it's me, Tomo, the guys with the 5 eyes that you see. And sorry that I've been away for 2 weeks. Kinda got caught up in we're caught up in between a lot of things at home right now. Nothing we can't manage though. You know, just things. I gotta figure out how we put back together our freaking TV stand set. Because, man, for some reason it looks complicated, but I think I remember how it goes. See, bottom, top, and the backs. Yeah, I remember that. But anyways, it's kind of funny where we are right now in our society. It's so much back and forth, we've got this whole social justice thing and acceptance and diversity thing. And there's always something to combat, like, a lot of stuff we talk about. Like, that's why I want to use Lil Nas X, and OnlyFans is a great example of this. Because there's basically Lil Nas X did on the BET Awards show was he kissed the man, like all sloppy and over the top, on top of a pyramid, doing a Michael Jackson, salute for a dance. And it's so weird, because also we should also bring up Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. They both Cardi B and like Lil Nas X like literally have made the most just out there music videos I've ever seen. That kind of makes me think twice about what I'm looking at. And there's so much backlash, and I don't really think there's much support for that not much real support, just a whole bunch of people who want to be in the moment, and then after a while, when these people either wisen up or they stop caring or whatever, they just stop caring. And then on the other hand, you have Twitter. No, that's not Twitter. OnlyFans. Jesus. OnlyFans is going to start moving towards friendlier content, and it looks like they may go the way of Tumblr and kind of purge people off the platform. Well, highly pornographic, but I don't think it's going to fail or nothing, because it's OnlyFans is a great way for people to interact with still famous people, basically. And the new notoriety is just going to make it a hotspot. So that's what it is. And Twitch is having some issues with the sexual content on their site too, but that's only because it makes so much like revenue for them. They're really hesitant how they go about it, but they're gonna have to cut a lot of that stuff out of there too. Like, it's gonna have to get to a point where like you need to be playing a game, and like you just need to play. You can play in a bikini, but you need to play. Stop focusing on turning people on. There's that, and let's see. Am I missing anything else? No. Well, yeah. Basically, that's like the biggest catalyst. Like, because when you factor in the fact that people are having less families, have less sex, things like socioeconomically are out of control. You got companies just buying neighborhoods to rent. Like, we're getting to that point where we're having single family home complexes essentially turn to big apartments. And I think society is high key kind of moving on from like the hypersexualized society that we used to have, where money just seemed to be everywhere for the most part. And I feel like OnlyFans really shows that, because if you think about OnlyFans, been around for a couple years, but close to 2020. I know I started hearing about it in 2019, maybe 2018, but like 2020, when things got a little desperate for that year, you just see it become basically Pornhub status. But this only lasted like a year and some change, and now look, and and just think about like that interview Kevin Samuels had with those girls in the Fresh and Fit. I think I might do another another video about that, just to prove the point. But like the girls are all like, I'm gonna do this, I got 5-year plan, I'm a na 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 na, And now, how many, like, I don't even know what, I forget whether, I don't think it was even a year, it was a couple months back when they did this interview, and now OnlyFans, only a couple months later, is like, bitch, we trying to get that shit off. And just look at that, you know, and who knows how far they could take it, because I don't think they'll take, I mean, they clearly ain't going to take all the sexual content down, but the porn, for a lot of women out there, they take that porn down, then they basically have to go back into the industry. And now they're gonna take lower deals because of inflation and equipment costs. Now they're gonna be like, Anastasia Kirilenko, we would have given you, $500 for this scene, but 400 will work. So there's that, just like that. All of a sudden, your main revenue source is going to be eventually cut at some point. Don't matter if it's 2 years or 3, 4, 5 years from now. Like you got a definite end date, so you don't shaping up by then. And like Lil Nas, no one really and Lil Nas just also shows just how desperate and stupid a lot of these executives on TV and the music industry are, because we get that gay people exist, and we get that, but we as people should understand about the LGBTY super circle up down plus community, is that they're their own individuals, and whether we think they have mental illnesses or not, we gotta treat them just like everyday people, because that's who most of they are for the most part, even with their eccentricities. But what people in that sector of that community who are like Lil Nas X, don't know how many that is, just a general idea, who are like Lil Nas X should probably understand that just based off the way most people think, just biologically, for the most part, we're really not gonna be too into seeing you guys get intimate for whatever reason. And I mean, girls are the exception. When it comes to guys, it's just a natural thing. It's not like everybody hates gay people. It's just that I'm pretty sure for the most part, most people kind of don't want to see that. That's just what it is. That's just how it is. And that's most societies. That's a human thing. That's, hey, and I mean, of course, as an entertainer though, you gotta give him his clout props, because for a guy with no real album, he's keeping the train going. Technically he's not even a one-hit wonder no more, so I mean, but honestly, it's just with what he's doing now, I think I don't think he realizes how low he's starting to set his bar, though. And the worst part is the Montero song was a good song. What was it good? For me, at first, I like listening because it was on the Logitech commercials at first, and they would play it, and I'd be like, wow, I like the way the beat sounds. But then the video, it's bro, I don't want to listen to the song no more now. The video was so audacious, it really made me just be I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of bad energy from that song, and I never say things about energy, but that's one of those songs where I'm just ugh, it's one of those songs they make it so it's impossible to forget in your mind because of how audacious it is. And you know what that's called, ladies and gentlemen? That is called a spell, causing force trauma. But now, the question I had to ask is, when will that true convergence happen at the crossroad of the society over-sexualizing itself and the society turning away from over-sexualization? Because as I said before, the reason why I think these executives in music and movie industry and whatever else is associated is the fact that they don't understand that honestly, they pushed this in the 90s, it probably actually would have worked full steam. And why? Well, I mean, cause oh, because if people aren't going out there having sex, getting sex, probably just being satisfied with porn, or just being so tired of people in general, they just stop thinking about that kind of thing. Then when you over sexualize the content of your media, it's not gonna connect to people the same way. They're not gonna ingest that content because they don't care about that content in real life. So that's why that's why when they press these kind of the imagery and the products of people like Lil Nas X, and then try to and that's what the LGBTQ community also basically brands itself as looking like that, if we being for real, because that's the most visual, most vocal aspect of their community. Is basically why for black people, the most visual aspect of our community are people in the hood acting out, and that's how people look at us. That's the same thing that goes on for them, But people just do not like that. You gotta think about it too. A lot of LGBTQ people also don't understand this. It's still relatively, you guys are relatively small number in this country. It's still somewhat smaller than even African Americans. Most guys are straight. So for the most part, if most guys are straight, then that's the demographic with the most money. So that's already cut out. Most women don't care. So that's where that's really where the real money comes in for the community. But when it comes to stuff ever being really accepted or actually cared about over the face level care people put up as a facade, just really not likely with those, because women still at the same time, they may accept gay people, but a lot of straight women who are also into men, they follow what the men do, because that's what happens when women get attached to men. They tend to follow us. So they may be like that and have gay friends or whatever, but then they really don't. They don't buy the gay Captain America comic books, and they don't go see Captain Marvel, and they don't read Vice and all that stuff. They don't do a lot of the things, and that's kind of why those big Hollywood execs and music industry people, they push this stuff, and they just gotta realize you keep pushing all you want, and you might always have that traction for the most part, but you guys gotta really pay attention to what the population is looking like, because you guys have lasted for 100 or 1,000, we never know, many years, and at the same time, you telling me you're not expecting that in the period of 20 to 40 years you're gonna have a whole demographic that just completely does not care about any of that at all, because they have to worry about other stuff. You're actually going to fuck your industry, especially with the way how much easier it is to make music and make movies and get crazy equipment for relatively cheap to be able to copy some things and to learn information and to start businesses, especially after a great reset. You never know, these companies are not ready for things to pop off in a different direction as well. Because imagine this too, imagine if movie theaters really did fall and there was only a few left. What would happen? Venture capitalists or whatever these people, the people that invest in movies, they know people are still going to want to watch movies. What are they going to do? They're basically going to just invest in different parts of land to rent those parts of land out for movies, when a lot of people sell most of that land. And then they're going to just go out there and probably just act as fund sponsors for a bunch of indie people and just, fucking invest in them, because actually they would get a higher return for the same amount. Like, $1 million for a blockbuster movie, goes a lot less than $1 million for, a movie coming out of nowhere and people are using, like, equipment that's not quite that great, but very high grade in the first place, but they're just cheaper. It goes a lot further, and you might have the same kind of hit on your hands. Probably see what you don't need to spend on the budget either. But in conclusion, what my prediction is for the future of this kind of culture in America is, it's definitely not going to last through this recession, man, because, man, when you think about it, it's just like, it's so much easier. Like, I feel like there's a relaxation factor that is, like, very, 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 very much so gone from the American culture. And it's clearly in the stats, birth rates for most people in this country have gone down. The birth rates have gone down. Life expectancy has gone down. Drug use has gone up. Violence is trending up right now. Inflation going up. Home prices going up. Like, everything going down and up is essentially the same. That we are now in a limbo in America. The things that we need to go up go down, and things that we need to go down go up. So there's nothing, well, I shouldn't say there's nothing we can do about it, but the kind of situation we as adults and our children are growing up in is just really going to make a lot of people either really focus on focus on good stuff from the onset, or just completely be careless and not give a fuck, and how that affects what we see on television and hear in music. I feel like the industry is gonna get to that point where they're just like, man, kids kind of just want to dance to something fun and go lucky. They, like, these days, they don't care about, they don't talk about LGBT and this, and they're saying they don't even want girlfriends or boyfriends. They don't like each other. Let's just make something to make them happy, and then all of a sudden society kind of resets itself. But we don't know how American society is gonna go. But anyways, just had to record that. Bit of a long one, but a good one in my opinion. I think what I'm gonna do, in my next video, totally gonna look at that Kevin Samuels video and probably bring up some articles in the OnlyFans situation, because that right there is that was just crazy. They had that talk. They thought they were so confident, and it's like, oh, baby, well, hey, they told you it was fast. You got a way out, because trust me, should have sold my top shots when I had 30K. I learned from that lesson, so they're gonna learn too. Anyways, see you later.